In today's video, we will be character hot-seating the subsequent king after Macbeth. Macduff. Hello, Macduff.
Ah, foul tidings have you brought to mine ear, or seek you counsel in matters most dire? Macbeth doth wear a borrowed robe, not fitting for a king, but suited for a tyrant. Treachery and blood have become the new law, and Scotland suffers under his yoke. What say you? How may Macduff aid you in your quest for truth or justice?
What are your views about Macbeth?
Macbeth, a name once spoken with respect, now tainted by ambition, run amok. He was a man of valour, a soldier whose sword defended Scotland from her foes. But alas, his virtues were undone by his vices. Lust for power consumed him, leading to regicide most foul, and an ever-growing list of horrid deeds. He traded his honour for a crown, his humanity for a throne. Macbeth hath become a tyrant, his soul sold for a fleeting moment of glory. He hath made Scotland a slaughterhouse, soaked the earth with the blood of innocents, and brought darkness upon our land. How it grieves me to think that a man so capable of greatness should fall so low. My heart yearns for justice, and my sword aches to bring an end to his reign of terror. He has ripped from me my family, spilled their innocent blood, and for that I am forever bound to seek vengeance. I shall not rest until the tyrant is dethroned and justice is restored to our suffering Scotland. So stands my view of Macbeth, a cautionary tale of how ambition unchecked can unmake the man and ruin the realm.
How did you feel when you learnt that your wife and children had been murdered?
The wound is yet fresh, and speaking of it tears at my very soul. The moment the news reached my ears, it was as if all light had been snuffed out, plunging me into an abyss of darkness and despair. To have such innocent lives, the purest love a man can know, taken so violently, so senselessly, it defies all understanding, all reason. My wife, my gentle wife who stood beside me in love and partnership, and my babes, my young ones who knew nothing of the harsh world they were born into, gone, all gone. I was not there to protect them, to shield them from the horrors that befell them, and that failing haunts my every waking moment. In an instant, I was stripped of my role as a husband, as a father, reduced to a hollow shell of a man, consumed by grief and raging with a thirst for vengeance. Can words truly capture the enormity of such a loss? I think not. It is a pain beyond description, a void that nothing can fill. But if anything fuels my will to carry on, it is the need to see justice done, to ensure that such atrocities do not go unanswered. Macbeth, the butcher, the tyrant, must pay for the blood he has spilled, and I shall be the instrument of his reckoning. From the day I learned of their cruel fate, my purpose became clear: to end Macbeth's reign of terror and restore justice to our blighted land. Though my heart is heavy with sorrow, my arm is steady, and my resolve is unbreakable. For my wife, my children, and for all of Scotland, Macbeth shall fall.
What do you feel is the role of a man?
In times less fraught, I would have spoken simply: a man's role is to protect his family, serve his king with loyalty, and act ever with honour and justice. But now, engulfed as we are in these shadows, such notions seem almost quaint. And yet, in the deepest chambers of my heart, they remain unshaken. To be a man is to bear burdens, not just of the flesh, but of the soul. We must stand steadfast in the face of unimaginable horror, must find a way to carry on when all the world seems lost. To falter is to fail not just ourselves, but those who depend on us, our families, our friends, and indeed, our country. As a man, my role is now clear: to seek justice for those wronged, to stand in opposition to tyranny, and to wield my grief as a weapon against the corruption that seeks to destroy all we hold dear. I am an avenger, a defender of the realm, a beacon of justice in a land darkened by evil. But there is more to manhood than the sword and the field of battle. A man must also be a pillar of wisdom and temperance, must offer love and guidance to his family, and must bear his responsibilities with grace and dignity. In ordinary times, these roles might suffice. But these are no ordinary times. Now a man must also be a rebel, a warrior, a slayer of tyrants. It's a heavy burden, but one I bear willingly, for I can conceive of no greater role, no higher duty, than to bring justice crashing down upon the head of he who has wronged us so grievously. For my family, for Scotland, for manhood itself, I shall not rest until Macbeth is vanquished and our land is free.
What encouraged you to kill Macbeth?
When I learned of the wicked deeds Macbeth had committed, not only against my own kin, but against Scotland herself, I was filled with a righteous fury. The land that once bloomed with honour and chivalry had become tainted, a feeding ground for treachery and malice. The crown that once stood for leadership and unity had become a symbol of tyranny and oppression. Macbeth's rule had not just damaged the throne, it had torn the very fabric of our society. Moreover, the words of the witches had sown in me a seed of hope that none of woman born would harm Macbeth. Later, I discovered that I was not born in the usual manner, but was delivered by what we now call a caesarean section. I realized then that perhaps I was the loophole in that twisted prophecy, a man technically not of woman born and therefore capable of bringing Macbeth's reign to an end. And of course, there was my family. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw their faces, the faces of my wife and children. They had been taken from me, their lives snuffed out like candles in a gust of wind, all on Macbeth's orders. The thought of them, the memory of their love, it stirred something primal in me, a thirst for justice, a need for vengeance. For the sake of my family, for the countless others who had suffered, and for the very soul of Scotland, I felt compelled to act. Macbeth had to be stopped, his reign of terror ended, and justice restored to our troubled land. My course was set and my purpose unwavering. Thus, when the time came to face him in battle, my heart was steeled and my arm steady. With righteous fury and the weight of my loss driving me forward, I slew the tyrant and freed Scotland from his grasp. In killing Macbeth, I aimed to be the instrument of justice, to restore what had been broken and return honour to our realm. It was not a task I relished, but one I accepted as necessary, for myself, for my family, and for Scotland.
Thank you, Macduff, for your time. Any last words?
If these be my final words, let them ring clear. The price of freedom is often steep, paid in blood and sorrow, but we must not shirk from it. For my family, for all our lost loved ones, and for the soul of Scotland, let justice and honour be our guiding stars. Let the tyranny of Macbeth serve as a cautionary tale for generations to come, a grim reminder of how ambition unchecked can poison even the noblest of hearts. If I should fall, let it be known that I fell in the name of justice, fighting to reclaim the Scotland that once was. Take up my mantle, carry forth my quest, and let not my sacrifice be in vain. May my deeds inspire others to act with courage and conviction, to rise against tyranny wherever it may rear its ugly head. I go now to whatever fate awaits me, my heart weighed heavy with grief, but also buoyed by hope, a hope that justice will prevail, that love will conquer hate, and that Scotland will once again be a land of freedom and peace. I entrust this hope to you, to all of you. Carry it forth and let it light your way through the darkest of times. Thus, my last words are both a farewell and a call to arms. Stand fast, seek justice, and let not the sacrifices of the fallen be forgotten.
Thank you for watching, and see you next time.